Welcome to Fat Community. Thank you for being here all. And hopefully a few more people will jump on because I know this is going to be a great talk. Very excited to have Marcy Cruz here. In my mind, Marcy Cruz is a fashionista. She's also one of those lovely people like Saucy West, who's out there advocating for those of us who are oversized 22, love. And the first time I met Marcy was in New York City we were both on a panel during
Yeah.
Fashion Week and with Marie Denis and
Yes,
anyway, it
yes.
was great. It was so fun meeting her
Spooky
there. And
Fashion Week with Gwen
yes.
DeVoe.
One
Mm-hmm.
thing I learned about Marcy that day, that week, Marcy's the one that gets shit done. I could see it. And people that were there were asking her to do all kinds of stuff, and she was getting it done. So it was a great experience. I'm so happy that happened. And I got to meet Marcy, and I realized what a compassionate person and just organized and getting her shit done. I love that. I love people who have hustle like that. So I was really intrigued. And so we've been friends ever since. And that was probably 2012-ish, somewhere
Mm-hmm.
in there,
Yes, yes.
2013. It was a great time. It was a great time. So Marcy also is a blogger, fearlessly just me, right?
Yes, Felicity Just Me. Yep.
And she has Instagram and Facebook for her blog. And she was a blogger for her own blog, but also used to write for a lot of other, I think, businesses and publications. And yeah, it's just all around wonderful, rad fatty. Thank you so much for being here, Marcy. I appreciate it. I'm excited to hear your presentation. And I have some questions for you.
Oh, you do? Oh, I'm excited. Yeah, thank you for that. It's been, it's been interesting. It's like, wow, and it's been like 20 years. Like when I think about it, it doesn't feel like 20 years, but like they don't even say blogger anymore. Now, like the cool term is content creator. And I'm just like, okay, and now I'm referred to as an OG, but I welcome that because, respect comes with that also. So, and I know that when I'm gone, I have left behind a legacy, that I'm sure I hope my nieces will, and anyone who's ever been inspired by me will keep it going, because it's not just for me, it's for everyone. I'm just out here trying to change the world,
Is that
Um,
all?
so, you know, but of course, as you said, like the core of my um platform is fashion. And this stems from me being, a 4X, sometimes a 5. And even back when, because I'm going to be 52 in actually a week. So I grew up in a time where we didn't have access to clothing. Like we have more access now, even though there's still a long way to go. But when I was growing up, I either had Lane Bryant or the men's department. And I opted for the men's department because I'm a young kid. I'm a teenager. I didn't want to wear Lane Bryant. I was not digging the matronly styles, it just wasn't me. So I would, shop the men's department and I would have my bedazzler. I would have a razor blade to cut my dad's jeans. I would steal my dad's jeans and I would just slice them and dice them and let the hem out and put bleach and wash them out and do all kinds of crazy stuff. I would paint on t-shirts, write on my sneakers, whatever. Anything to like, you know, feel like I was like, I don't know how to explain it. Like the feeling that I get when I wear something I love, and what I love is usually color and print. So I'm always standing out. I feel powerful. I feel free, I feel fearless. That's the whole base of my blog, is because I do suffer from generalized anxiety disorder. So it affects all facets of my life. And so fashion has been a way for me, it's been a form of therapy in a sense, because, I went through a period where I kind of lost myself for a little while, like really like in my late 20s, because I was in a toxic relationship with someone for a very long time. And so I didn't feel confident. And so like my fashion was different. Your fashion kind of mirrors your mood in a sense. So like I was wearing dark stuff and I was wearing very baggy clothing, trying to hide my body. Um, I didn't do my hair. I didn't, I looked very sad. When I look at pictures of myself back then, I'm like, oh my gosh. Um, And then, I changed because I feel like in life, nothing is set in stone. We're on this journey, we ebb and flow, right? We evolve. You're on mute. Are you good? I thought you were going to say something.
I do. I was gonna say something.
Oh, okay.
Welcome to Susan. I was gonna say something real quick because I know you kind of have some bright letters on your shirt and stuff, and kind of
Oh,
related to what you were saying. It's
yes,
like I tell my friends, we can see how fat you are, no matter how much black you wear. So why not?
exactly.
They're gonna make fun of you. They're gonna say some shit about you. Why not just bring something really like, pow? So if they want to make fun, at least you could be like, yes, look at me. I don't give a fuck. And then I was gonna
Right.
tell you, I have a client, a trans client, and she's 6'11",
Hmm.
and she's 40, in her 40s, and she thought she couldn't transition because she was too tall. And I said, look, sister, they are making fun of us, all of us anyway. So F them, do what you want, do what makes you feel authentic. And even if they don't say it to your face, they're probably saying it. Just give them something to talk about. Give them something to bitch about. Give them something to complain about, because they're doing it already about your body, because she's fat and she's tall and she's trans. So, of course, she gets it from all angles. So give them something to talk about.
That's true. I mean, it's hard to block the noise.
Yeah.
It's very hard, especially when you live in a world that, like Lizzo said, it's hard to work in a world and live in a world that doesn't love you back.
Right.
You can love the world, but it won't love you back. So it's hard. I mean, it's, confidence and self-love, that's like a lifelong journey. It never stops, right?
For sure.
And you'll have bad days, you'll have good days, and I've told myself over the years, I'm going to celebrate the good days. The bad days, I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm going to be kind to myself, and I'm probably going to buy a pretty dress to cheer me up. And it doesn't matter if it's a $5 dress or if it's a $500 dress, as long as it makes me happy. I treat myself, I say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to wear this dress,
So
God
you're
willing,
really
you know what I
you're
mean?
really
So
talking about mindset, I think, right now, right? Like,
yes,
get yourself in
yes,
the right mindset.
yes, because I think that when people talk about shopping, right, they don't always think about the mental part of shopping, right? Especially as a fat woman, that damn size tag, like, it's such a problem because we put too much literally, and like we put too much emphasis and meaning behind the size tag, right? When in reality, no one really knows who their true size is. Please, oh, I hear like, thinner women say, oh, I'm a size 2 off the rack. No, ma'am, you may be a size 2 here, but you may be a size 4 somewhere else. But people hold that like in such like high regard, like I'm this size and I'm that. And I'm guilty of it too, from a sense of power, because I feel like it's powerful for me to say, I'm a 4X, or I wear a size 28 in jeans. For me personally, even though other people may say, I've had people say, wow, like my thinner, people that I know from like high school or whatever, they're like, oh, you're so brave for saying your size. Oh my God, I could never do that. And I'm like, because it's my size. Like, to me, there's power in embracing who you are, and even if it's as simple as saying, I'm this size, but you can't really say that. So like, I'll tell people I'm between like a 24 and a 30. Who knows?
Who knows?
I'm rolling the dice here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. I've shared this
depends on the
before,
brand.
but when I had my boutique, let's say we have like 3 items, all from the same designer, Shirley of Hollywood or Coquette. In the same designer, a 24 would fit me, a 30 would fit me, or 3X, 4X. Like, I would tell people, just try it on. First of all, the label often doesn't mean anything, because where it's sewn, it's all sewn in different. It's bad. And we all know that already, right? It's terrible. Even the same designers don't make the same 24. Their 24s are different, all the different styles. And then, the label doesn't mean anything, but I would have people tell me they spend time cutting their labels out of their clothing or their lingerie so their partner didn't know what size they are. I'm like, your partner knows, they get naked with you. They know.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I'm trying to, someone put something in the chat. Oh,
Yeah,
hold
I
on.
was gonna go check it out.
I am so sorry. Okay. I didn't have my chat window open.
That's okay, I got it.
Yeah, the Zoom still, after having meetings for at work, now we're using Teams. I'm just still like someone messaged me in Teams and I was like, you can message people in Teams? Like, where do I find this message? It's like, why didn't she just email me? Or we're on
Pauline was
Slack.
just
Why didn't
saying,
she just Slack me?
Pauline was saying how she gets so disappointed when she does go shopping. She sees something she likes and they don't have it in her size. And
Yes, and
that
I
does take
feel
a
you
toll.
on that on so many levels because I like, for me as someone who is like works in the industry, like I get especially when I was working in media, right? I would get tons of pitch letters saying, try my brand, we're size inclusive, or we have stuff for you. And then I go and they only go up to like a 22. I'm like, no. Then I have like this form email now that I send, and I just, maybe I'm being spiteful and petty. I don't care. Like, it just pisses me off. And I just send them this email. I'm like, I'm sorry, but I can't wear your brand because you don't carry my size. So in fact, it's not inclusive. And here's the definition of size inclusive. Like, I have this long, and I just copy and paste it, put their name. Like,
Good
I'm
for
just
you.
gonna type it over and over again. I just have the form,
Good for you.
and then I usually don't get a response. And the few responses I get, they apologize and they say, well, we'll take this back to the designer or the brand and let them know, which is great. But most of them, they don't respond because they don't know how to respond,
Right. Um,
because in their minds, you gotta understand, like, size inclusive has become a mainstream buzzword, right? And this is what pisses me off. A lot of these like terms that come out of our community, right? Like body positivity, for example. Once it gets hijacked by mainstream media, they create their own definition to suit their goals. So it's like, to me, it's yet again something else that they're stealing from us. And then they want to recreate it into something that suits the world,
mhm.
not us, right? Or suits their goal, you
Their
know,
goals. Right.
right. And so it pisses me off because it's like the definition is defined. Like, I've gotten to arguments. I've fallen out with like a handful of people over an argument of what body positivity means. Because I'm like, the term is defined. When a term is defined, you cannot change the definition.
No. Yeah.
You can't say, well, I'm going to define it the way. And I had an argument with someone who was just so passionate about, well, this is what it means to me. And I'm just like, I don't care what it means to you. That's not what it means. It's not the definition. So same with size inclusivity. Like, now these brands think if they offer a straight size run from size 0 to 24, they're
Mm-mm.
size inclusive. And hold on one second, because I just got the battery light.
Oh, no problem. I'm gonna
No, I
read.
have my thing right here.
Okay.
I was ready.
Okay.
I was ready. See, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Um, and you have to remind people that inclusive means all,
Right.
right? It doesn't mean what you think it means.
Right.
But to be honest, and I know this is going to sound really stupid, but a lot of these straight size brands, they think plus sizes stop at a 24. They really do. They don't understand. They don't take the time to educate themselves on the plus size community. They just see
Yeah.
dollar
Yeah.
signs and
They're
they
just,
think,
yeah.
oh, let me just go up to 24 and then we'll be inclusive and we'll be cool and we'll make a ton of money. And then they get, the emails from like people like Saucy saying, oh no, you know,
Nope. Nope.
and
Big
people on
nope.
social media, or like they try to reach out to me and I'm like, oh no, not happening. So, and I had to turn it hurt my feelings. I had to turn my pain into a positive and say, you know what, I'm going to fight back, because I can't just sit here in a pity party and say, oh my God, I don't feel like they're including me. They're totally like erasing me, and they don't
Mhm.
care about me and they don't want to offer me the clothes. And it's like, no, what are you going to do about it? You're pissed off, you're hurt. Let's channel that.
Yep.
And that's kind of what has pushed me to be so vocal about, you know, brands
I,
expanding sizes even further.
I'm very grateful to you and Saucy because I know you both are working hard on that. and that is my end of the spectrum. But before we talk about why you feel like people should ignore the label, I want to read what Tigress wrote earlier about the time when she used to work at the Avenue.
Okay.
I missed the Avenue. She was just saying how that customers would get mad if she would tell them, oh, you need to try like a 28, but they would act like they were just there to buy a size 16. And she's like, girl, we can see you. Everybody here knows you. And if you're fat, you have a good idea what size people are too. But yeah, people, even if they're just shopping at the Avenue, they get it really twisted in their heads. It's like, and I know this for myself. I try on a size 22, a 24, a 26, a 28, a 30 because they're all going to be different. So I want to hear what you have to say about why the label is not important. Why ignore the label?
Ignore the label because the label doesn't define you as a person. I think that it's once you get rid of that idea that that label defines you as a person, you take your power back,
Right.
And that will help you in your journey to becoming more confident,
Mm-hmm.
And really being true to yourself. Because, my dad used to always tell me growing up, my dad was incredible. He passed away, 11 years ago. And he left such gems with me, because he was very like, he thought I could do anything I set my mind to, So we'd be in the car, we'd be walking, and he would always look at me and say, you have to be this, you have to be that. So he would say, there's only one you in the world. Why not celebrate that? There's no one else in the world like you at all, Marcy. No one. And that's an amazing thing.
Yep.
And he said, there's so many incredible people out there, but they are who they are. You are who you are. There's room for all of us in the world. And if we all had that mindset, the world would be such a happy place because we all be celebrating ourselves together, right?
Everybody trying to be somebody else or something else.
Exactly. So, and I understand that we live in a world that constantly tells us that our size, determines our worth.
Right.
And I think that sometimes we forget that we can't change what other people think, quickly. We can try, but we can change how we feel about ourselves.
That's all you can control, right? Is how you feel. But yeah, but
Yes, it's
it's
not
important
easy
for all of
though.
us to keep making ripples, right? To kind of improve the
Exactly.
world. But all you can really manage is how you take the information in.
Yes, and that's the first step for you to cause those ripples in the world. You
Right.
have to be good with yourself. You have to be confident and stand in your power and say, the size tag does not define me.
Oh God, not at all. I
No.
wish I could charge by the ounce like gold. Imagine that. I'm like, oh yeah, $1,200 a pound, ounce. That the higher the better. Marcy, you were a fit model for a while, right? So, or maybe you still are. So can you talk about like what I was saying with the designers? Like even sometimes one designer, they're 22 in one style, I'll need a 26 in another style from that same designer. How does that happen? Do you know?
Well, I think that, so the problem is that companies, they don't want to spend a ton of money. Let's just keep it real.
Right.
They're trying to get the most bang for their buck, right? So they'll hire one fit model, and typically it's a size 18 model.
Mhm.
And then what they'll do is they'll grade up or down. They'll have like a certain amount of inches that they'll grade up or grade down. And sometimes these size 18 models may not reflect the spectrum of bodies that are going to wear their clothing, and I think that's the challenge that to this day we're still trying to figure out on that side, right? Is that how can we create clothes for plus size women who carry their weight in different places, right? And some brands have they're trying, and we have things out there now like 3D body scans. There's a company that is creating mannequins, and offering data of body scans that they've done on women across. I don't know if they're doing it outside of the US, but I know they're doing it in the US. Then you have companies like Universal Standard, who I worked for. I was their fit model for their extended sizes when they first extended to a 32. This was before they went to a 40.
Right.
When they were first extending past the 28 and they were expanding up to a 32. And I was part of that. And I'm so proud that I was, because that company, like the CEO, the two CEOs are always present at Fit,
Hmm.
you know, and they listen. So like I actually became, I don't want to say I'm friends with her because it's not like we have beer on Friday night, but Alexandra Waldman is someone that I can email, like she really listens. She may not agree at times, but she'll listen. And I think being a fit model is not just about standing there and letting them pin you. Like you have to let them know if something doesn't feel right. You have to be that advocate for yourself and for other people, other women, you know.
I have a fit model question. So you say they decide, this person's a size 18. So does every designer, is there 18 different, or is there like a universal standard, so to speak, that this is exactly what an 18 is. This is the waist size, this is the hip size, this is the rib cage size. Is there, because I feel like every 18 that no matter where you buy it from, it's different.
Yes, yes, it's different. And
Yeah.
it's
Why can't that be
because,
universal?
well, I mean, plus size bodies are not universal. That's the
True.
problem.
Short,
Um,
tall, big
yeah,
boobs, flat butt, big butt. Yeah.
and it costs money for them to really invest in that. And some companies honestly don't want to do it, because even like going back to universal standard, what they would do is they would do a size run, right? And a size run is after they've made the clothing and we're going to fit like the samples, they'll have a model for every single size and we would stand in a line. So you'll have from the 0 to the 40
Mm.
standing in a line, and they'll go over each model to see the fit, and they'll make adjustments per size because they know the body changes. So like the 0, the upper arms may not be as wide than the 28.
Mm-hmm.
They'll ask me, how does it feel on you? They even look at things like pocket placement, where the darts are,
Cool.
where I would mention, my upper arms, my calves. They look at little details like that and they'll ask you, well, how does it feel? And that's a great thing, but not every company is going to do that,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But
Time and money, basically.
yes, yes. Then you have on the other side of the spectrum a company like Shein. That's how you pronounce it, right? Shein.
I think so.
Who thinks that above a size 22 should be an entirely different section, and their sizing is all over the place, because if you look at, they put measurements per each item. So in one item you could be a 24, another item you'll be a 32.
I've heard people say with Shein or whatever it's called, it's really important to read the reviews from the customers, but
Yes.
I'm trying not to buy from there because I know there's people in a sweatshop making those clothes and it makes
Yeah.
me heart hurt. But I see some of their styles. I'm like, I really want some of them, but I just
Yeah.
can't pull the trigger. But so they're just like all over the place with their sizing,
Oh,
like
yes.
crazy.
Yes. And this is why I say it's important to know your measurements.
That was my next point. I know you're big on that. And you even have your own measuring tape.
Yes. 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 For years, I carry measuring tape in my purse. I got 100-inch measuring tape from Michael's right in the sewing section, and it cost me about $1.50. Might have gone up to $2, who knows?
Inflation.
Because I've had the same one for about 10 years, but it's still there because I send people to Michael's and they say, "Oh, I found it." Also Amazon the other day. Someone mentioned to me it was on Amazon. I looked it up. They have a 96-inch measuring tape on Amazon. That's like about $3.
Oh,
And you get Prime, so you can get it overnight
perfect.
if you need it. But and if you can't measure yourself, because trust me, measuring yourself is like a task.
It's not easy.
Always ask a friend. Ask
Yes.
a friend to come. I even have my niece, my 4-year-old niece knows how to measure. I'm like, okay, mama, come, help Titi, help Titi. And so she knows how to measure like my legs, and I tell her, tell me the number, because she's very 4 years old, but she's a genius. Like she loves math. She knows her numbers. So she'll
Good.
yell out, 32, 57. I'm writing it down, so but
Yikes.
it's important to know your measurements. And when I say measurements, like and I'm looking at my notes because I wanted to make sure I didn't miss this. But people say, oh, you should just use, your bust, your waist, and your hip. I feel like I measure everything. I measure the width of my upper arms. I measure the width of my upper calves for boots, because sometimes I do find a unicorn and Lane Bryant or something where they have tall boots that may fit my legs, which, oh my gosh, when that happens, it's like a holiday for me.
Yeah.
And I also like to know my inseam, because the thing about my body is, and as a fit model too, I notice is that I have a long torso and I have short legs. That's another thing you have to know. You have to really know your body and what fits your body, right?
Yeah.
So like some people have short torsos, some people have long legs, some people have carry their weight in their hips, but they have very small ankles. Same with the wrists,
Yep.
your arm
True.
length. I also, and I wrote this down, I also measure the length from my shoulder. They call this the high point shoulder, down to my knee. So I can know a length of a dress.
Oh.
But what I also, and I have a friend do this for me, and like I say, ask a friend, measure from the back so you get your butt. Like you put the measuring tape around your butt, because if you have a big butt, it's going to raise the dress in the back.
Why don't they make all plus size dresses shorter in the front and longer in the back?
They do that now. Like if you really look at measurements, like we've come a long way in that too. I've noticed that I do see some, but not all brands do that. And even with like the job that I'm at now, I notice like the back rise in pants is higher than the front. So like, let's say like a high rise pant typically is 13 inches and up in the front, if you want a high rise jean or a high rise pant, right? But the back rise may be like 20 and up to cover the butt, because you don't want to have, what do they call that when you're cracking your butt shows? I don't know. They call it something. So you don't want to bend down and everybody's just seeing your business, unless you want that.
Plumber's butt. Plumber's butt.
There you go. If you want plumber's butt, hey, that's your business. I don't.
Marcy, when people would call into my store and ask about sizing, something I would ask them is, because I found this to be very important, especially in lingerie, do your boobs stick out further than your tummy? Or is your tummy further out than your breasts? And sometimes I could hear them say, honey, are my boobs, what sticks out more? But if we knew that the belly stuck out more than the breast, then I say, okay, stick with that size. But if the tummy is bigger than the breast, or sticking out further, go up a size, because then they would have more to cover the but I don't know if that's a real thing or not. But yeah.
I didn't know that. That's good. That's something
It just worked out for us at the store, but it's been a while. I just want to mention too that earlier when we were talking about other industries co-opting our language, Pauline was saying that she stopped using Dove products when they co-opted the body positivity. True that.
Yes. But they're starting to
ones.
show fat people in their commercials.
Yeah, they do now. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, maybe they listen, because so many angry people went after them.
Maybe.
So yeah, and I also want to mention,
don't piss us off.
Exactly. I also want to mention, Tiger said that if you're an Amazon shopper, you can use smiles.amazon.com to designate NAFA as a charity that will receive a small donation from Amazon when you shop.
I love it. Yeah, it's such a great program.
Yes, I got to shout out NAFA because I'm on the board of directors, and I'm the director of fashion industry relations. I also host a show via NAFA called Ahead of the Curve, which I hope one day you'll be one of my guests, Crystal. And it's just really just talking to people who are ahead of the curve in terms of in the industry, that are really pushing for extended sizes, size inclusivity, and they're doing the work. So, and sometimes we have thinner allies, which I've been really surprised. So it's important. So I hope that, I don't know if you probably checked it out, because we have some videos on the NAFA YouTube. So yeah, but yeah, future guests.
I really adore our thin allies. I appreciate the work that they do for us, but it does piss me off that thin-bodied people are taken more seriously than fat-bodied people. So that I appreciate them so much, because we need them. but it's really grinds my gears bad. There's nothing that they do that has more value because they're a smaller body, but don't get me going.
No, I
Marcy,
understand, and I used to feel that way, but you know what? I turned into a positive, and I said, okay, they want to help us. Okay, you get me in the door. If you can access these rooms that I can't, oh, I'm going to use you to access these rooms, because once you get me in that room, it's on. You know, I just need to get through the door. So, you know, because I used to feel like you also, and still sometimes like I feel the twinge, but like I have to remind myself, like, okay, Marcy, you know, this is what it is. You can use this to your advantage. So I say, okay, get me in the door. You know, I'm grateful to you, thank you, but now I got this. I'm in the room, so I got this. I'm good. You can stand behind me. You know. um, but yeah, no, but I totally get it. I mean, there's like a young influencer now. I forget her name, but she had gotten a brand. I think it was Revolve. To and Revolve is a brand that I think they only go up to an 18, but they're like a brand that's coveted by like um those influencers that have, you know, they like high fashion. They willing to spend the money, like they want Zara and things like that, brands like
yeah.
that. And so this influencer, I think she's like a size 20. She went on a rampage on TikTok, and so now she's doing a collection with them, but the collection is only going to go up to a 22. And so, and I know Saucy spoke about her on her channel. And so this young lady got pissed off because she couldn't believe that someone was like, you know, lashing out to her when she feels she's doing the work.
Ungrateful.
She didn't get it. She didn't get it that it's not about you. You know, you have size privilege. This is what I tell people. Like a lot of thinner allies that I know, they will admit, I know I have size privilege. And I appreciate that, because you can't sit up here and say your experience is the same as mine, because it's not.
No way. And I know that she feels like people are ungrateful because she's did some work. Thank you. But also, we're really sick of settling for just crumbs. You know, little crumbs are just thrown our way every once in a while. So there's a reason why Saucy's upset. And good on you.
Exactly.
That's great. We all have to make our ripples, but 20 and 22 is not even close. So yeah, that's
Exactly.
no,
Yeah. Saucy was right in what she
I
said.
know.
You
Yeah.
know, and when the average American woman is a size 18,
That's
how can you be serious about a collection that only goes to a 22?
silly.
Like, make that make sense to me.
Thank you. Good luck with that. Ti-
Exactly.
Tigers shared that fat community is really pressuring Dove to be more inclusive, and hopefully they will pay attention to the guidelines NAFA worked on with Google. Thank you, Tigers, for how to show fat people
Yes.
and how to show fat people in marketing. Yeah, it's nice to see. I love to see fat bodies on television, on commercials now. I get so happy.
Love it. Yes. There was
Mhm.
one commercial, and I think I forget, it was a music um company. It wasn't Beats or anything. It was one of those type of companies. Anyway, they had this fat black man. He was sitting on the floor listening with his headphones, and it just gave me so much joy, because he was visibly fat. Like, he looked like he was an extended sizes man. Good looking too. I want his phone number. But he was just sitting on the floor, and you know, they don't show us doing things like that. Like just hanging out. He had pillows around him, he had his headphones on, and he was
Oh,
jamming.
I do know that one. Yeah.
Yes, and I love that commercial.
If you
Oh
think
my
about it
gosh.
too, the sprinkles with the musicians, they're big guys too. And there's a
Yeah.
fat woman on that commercial. And then Big Lots used to have some really amazing Christmas holiday time commercials with fat people in it. It's so beautiful.
Yes. And TJ
Love it.
Maxx is another one. I love the people that they put in their commercials. And I think that they're gonna get even better. I think they're gonna be more inclusive, which is amazing.
Yeah,
So
it's really
hopefully they're
awesome.
leading the pack in that respect, because that also helps people shop, because when they see themselves, you
Yeah.
know, reflected in the people just doing everyday normal shit, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, and you can't say we're glorifying obesity when we're just walking down the street, to go to the grocery store, or to go to the pharmacy, or we're going to the park, or we're just living life. I mean, we're just doing normal stuff.
Nobody can
You know?
glorify obesity because there's no perks. So we're not like getting
Right.
into the club for free. We're not getting free drinks at the bar. We're not going to the pool at no
Right.
charge. There's no special things that we
Right.
get. You can't glorify it. It's oh,
Exactly.
except I got my vaccine early. So that woo.
Right. Oh my gosh, I was so excited with that.
Me too.
I
Me
was like, you mean to tell me finally me
too.
being fat is giving me something? Like, I will take it. I
Thank you.
feel
I did, yes.
vindicated.
So tell us, where do you shop? And tell us, you said you buy like 26, 28, 30.
Yeah.
What are your favorite brands?
Okay, so hmm. See, because I dabble everywhere, so to speak. I don't really have a favorite. I will say that I've kind of been addicted to Target. Target has some gems, especially on their website. A lot of people don't know they go up to 34, and I mean it's a handful of items, but to me they have jeans up to 34, and that's important because when you're extended sizes, I've met women who say they don't wear jeans. They haven't worn jeans in 20 years. I've been stopped on the street, asked where did I get my jeans, because they see me wearing jeans. They're like, how is she wearing jeans? Like, what magic is this? Like, I need to know. And so I always tell women, like, you may have to dig a little. Like, if you can't get in a Target store, I feel like shopping online for Target is better than shopping in store. You could always return in store too, if you want to.
I noticed that
Um,
Target stuff runs a little bit larger. So where I
yes,
normally think I'm a
yes,
4X, I need a 3X, but this is me
yes,
shopping in the actual store.
yes. And that's the thing, like Target and even Walmart, their cuts are bigger. Their 4X is actually a 2830. So that alone is fantastic. And then of course, it's price friendly. Target's a little more, to me, fashionable and stylish. Walmart is more your basics, your core basics. So like if you need good leggings, t-shirts, jeggings, even the jeans at Walmart are decent. But Target is more, I love when they do their designer collaborations, because it's like, for me, someone who I've loved fashion my whole life. Like I had wanted to be a fashion designer, and like I go to New York Fashion Week. I'm not bothered as much. Like I get excited when I see plus size models, don't get me wrong. But if I see a show that just has like straight size models, especially if it's a straight size designer, I'm not going there to buy clothes. I'm going there for inspiration. I'm going there to look at the show because I love runway shows, right? I get inspired, and then what I'll do is I'll go to a designer like Bertha Pearl or someone and say, can you create this dress for me? And like it'll be inspired by something I saw on the runway, but I add my little touches. Indie designers, number one, are the best. Um, I think that many women feel like they can't afford an indie designer. I don't think that that's true. I think that you can find one in your budget, or you can even do like Afterpay. I think if you reach out to any designer and you talk to them, they will be more than willing to work within your budget. If they're that type of designer, which I know many of them are, like Bertha, that they're just passionate about getting clothes out to as many fat people as they can. Like they want fat people out here slaying the
Yeah.
streets, okay? In
Yeah.
whatever style you want. It could be masculine, it could be feminine. If you want to wear a house coat outside, listen, make it fabulous. I'm a big believer of that. To me, fabulous is a subjective term.
Totally.
It's not, there's no like code. Oh, you have to dress like someone from New York Fashion Week. If that's your thing, or if your thing is wearing a pink fur coat, go for it.
Yeah.
Or if you just want to wear a freaking a boiler suit. I don't know if you know what a boiler suit is, but it's like a jumpsuit, but it's very masculine with
Oh, okay.
snaps in the front and chest
Hmm.
pockets.
Hmm.
If you're masculine presenting and you want to wear that, go ahead, go for it.
No rules.
Fashion is fashion. Fashion is a way to express yourself. So a lot of these indie designers, like I would go to them. Like I have so many custom things made for myself because I'm not a basic person. And I have yet to find a brand that really has things that I want. Like the other day on Instagram, I found a company that this company had, I would buy everything. Like it was my style to a T, but they only go up to an XL. So I said, okay, I'm not gonna get mad. I'm just gonna screenshot everything I like, change the color, maybe change the sleeve, you know, add my little flair to it. I'm gonna have a designer make it for me.
What app do you use for that? What are you doing? How are you doing that?
I screenshot it and like,
Okay.
and I draw on the piece of, I can't sketch worth a
Okay.
damn, but you know, I'll go to designer and say, but I know terminology. So I'll say like, oh, I want a cap sleeve on this, asymmetrical V-neck, but that comes from my background as a copywriter.
Sure.
But I mean, anyone could go on Google and look up, you know, different types of sleeves, necklines.
I have two questions. Well, one comment, one question. In case
Hmm.
people don't know Bertha has, she's a independent designer and her company is called Size Queen Clothing. You
Yes.
can find her all over Instagram and Facebook. She's also here in the Bay Area in the East Bay. But I also want to ask you, speaking of indie designers, I mean, he's kind of more establishment designer now, but have you ever met Christian Siriano?
Yes.
Oh my God, what was that like?
It was, it was a dream. It was like, it was very brief because it was at an event. He was at a Lane Bryant event because you know he did collection with Lane Bryant. And at the time I had hurt my ankle. So I had like I didn't have a cast, I had like an ace bandage. There was a line to see him. But since, you know, I had a cane, I was sitting there, they let me go first, which I was like, okay, let me milk this, you know. So he took a picture with me and we chatted for like, I want to say like a minute. He told me I looked fabulous, which I will never forget. And I just told him like, thank you for being open and willing to designing for everyone. Like I cannot afford a custom look from him, you know, but he will create it. Like if you go to him and say, you know, I want this, and if you have the money, like he'll create it for you, because he said many times like everyone deserves to, you know, have fashion in their life that they want, you know, that they love. So, you know, that was, you know, that was a big moment for me to meet him. He was very nice.
Exciting. Yeah, that's nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would, don't ever, you should write that quote on the Christian Siriano told me, blah, 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 put it on your mirror everywhere in your house, your bumper sticker. That's awesome. How amazing. And it, I guess what impressed me with him is that he really saw us. He actually cared and he like saw us. He didn't like a lot of people in fashion just kind of erase us, right? If you're bigger
Yes,
than a size 6, they're like uninterested. And he just hung in there and he was, and he, I mean, he does such a beautiful job of dressing those celebrities in Hollywood and stuff. I mean, he's amazing.
yes, yes. And I actually, I don't know how we can do this, but I can like give you a list of, you know, indie designers that are great.
Yeah,
And, you know, and I don't know, we can post it somewhere
yeah.
or
We're
whatever.
gonna we'll post this video on my channel
Hmm.
and we'll put that in the show notes so people can go there and look. And I think you already gave
Okay.
me a list, didn't you, of some.
Yeah, and I was gonna mention, yeah,
Okay,
so
curvy
yeah,
shop.
I said indie designers, but then I also said thrifting, which
Really?
thrifting has gotten better for us. But I think it's gotten better for us because now it's online. So
Mhm. Yeah.
there are quite a few like shopping opportunities via like Facebook Live, Instagram Live. So I actually just found a new one probably in the last month, and it's called Curvy Online
Hmm.
on Facebook. Okay. And the link is facebook.com/curvy shopping /.
Okay.
And the gal who runs it, her name is Amanda Miller, and she carries the entire size spectrum. Like if she can get her hands on it, she has it. Primarily she has Torrid stuff. But she sells it at a great discount. I know yesterday I just shopped with her. She's very understanding, like always answers her messages. She sells underwear, she sells lingerie, she sells accessories, shoes. She right now she has 0 to I think 7X. And you know, she's just amazing. So I wanted to shout her out because I actually I missed out on Torrid. They had a Mary J. Blige t-shirt that I wanted, and she had it, and I was like, yes, it's mine. And I got it at a discount. I was like, yes. And a lot of times, like these thrifting places, they have stuff with tags. You can get new stuff with tags, like super cheap. So
Wow.
so let me look at my list right now, because I know there's some that
Sure.
you may know, like the Plus Bus,
Yeah.
Fat Fancy, Plus Brooklyn, Cake out in Minneapolis, Kirby Chic Closet. They have that show twice a year with
What's
Becky
what's
Jarvis.
what's Adrian's store called?
It's called Curve Conscious. It's
Her
on my
Conscious, that's right,
list.
yeah.
Yeah. Then there's Secondhand Curves outside of Chicago. She's got 2 locations. Rachel Caddy, she's amazing. You have Blogger House Curvy Closet, which they
Yeah.
do Facebook Lives, which I've sold clothes with them. Canada, you have Consign Your Curves. They do a big thrifting event every year.
Thank you.
Then
Cool.
I found another one on Instagram. She has a site though. It's called Curvy Thrift Co.
Hmm.
And it's curvythriftco.com. But like I said, I'll send you the list. But there's amazing, you know, thrift places out there that you can visit. If you're in the area, you can go to their store. But if you're not in the area, they're always doing like, you know, sales online. Now, the only thing I will say is if you have like, my issue is I always have a delay sometimes when I'm shopping the live. So I usually miss out on stuff. So I try to shop, like if they post in their stories and they'll say this is available, and I'll just message them, hey, I would like this. So I do that a lot versus shopping in the live, because yeah, I'm never going to get anything because I have a delay. I don't know
Right.
what's going on. I have Spectrum. I don't know. They suck, but
I hear that a lot about Spectrum. Yeah. I'll definitely put that list and any new lists in the show notes, and I'll share it with everybody so you guys can check it out. Because yeah, Marcy's a font of information when it comes to fashion. And oh, real quick, thank you to Tigress for sharing size queen clothing Bertha's
yes,
Instagram. I agree
Bertha's
with
amazing.
she
I
is. I have
mean,
some of her pieces that are just awesome.
the prints. See, if you love prints and you love color, like Bertha is the person. You know, like she made me a donut print dress that to
I
this
know.
day, people stop me on the street. They're like, where did you get your dress? This guy even offered me a dozen donuts if I would have taken a picture in front of his business. I said, okay. Took a picture in
Okay.
front of his business. It's hanging in his company, his store or whatever somewhere. And I walked away with it with free dozen donuts, because and you
Oh
know his
yeah.
donuts are so good. So I was like, okay. Um,
Marcy, are you blogging at all on your own blog anymore?
I, you know, I want to relaunch and rebrand, and it's just been, you know, with COVID, so much has happened. And
Because we
between the
all want what you
job,
have in here. We all want that.
yeah, you know, and that inspires me. So yeah, I want to get back on it. I actually revamped the format of my blog, and I was
Mhm.
actually looking at my blog last night, because sometimes I go back and I read old entries to see how far I've come, because you know my blog is going to be 12 years old.
Oh,
Yeah, so the first entry was in December of 2010. So yeah, so I might celebrate my anniversary this year with something, I don't know, maybe a giveaway or something. But so but I want to mention really quick before I end,
sure.
also, other key tips, when you're shopping online, read the product description, the details. People don't read, okay? And me as a copywriter, I always try to put in if the fabric has stretch, if it's comfortable, if it's lightweight, if there's any special details, if it's a button versus a zipper, if it's a pull-on. It's very important to look at the product details. Second of all, read customer reviews. I cannot tell people, I can't stress it enough. Read customer reviews, because people are honest, especially in front of a computer where they know you're not going to come to their house. and they could say pretty much what they want. And they'll be honest about it. And plus, sometimes people post links to other things. That's how I found the curvy online place on Facebook. I found it in a customer review on the Curvy Fashionista website. I was reading an article, and I always read the comments at the bottom, always. So because you never know what you're going to find. People post things, they post information, um, and also, support small businesses. Like I said, small businesses, indie designers. If there's an event in your area, like a thrifting event or like an indie designer event, go support it. Sometimes it's only like $5, or if you can't afford it, reach out to the person who's running it. Maybe they'll give you a scholarship. You just never know.
It's always worth asking for sure. You never know what they're going to say. And yeah, it's good stuff, Marcy. I really appreciate you. And I agree with Ashley. You are a treasure trove of information. And yes, your style kind of reminds me of my friend Dana, Dana that passed away.
Yes.
You guys both used to have similar styles. You still have that same style. Always makes me so happy when I see you in dresses and donuts and things like that, because that's how Dana liked to dress. But if anybody has any questions for Marcy, feel free to put them in the chat or just turn your microphone off and ask. And if there's no questions, then we'll do some hacks. I know that Marcy has a few. Like,
oh, and mentioning Dana, I just want to say, like, Dana and I used to always Facebook message each other. She would always ask my opinion about certain things. She liked Universal Standard. I had put her onto Universal Standard. She would say, "Oh, how would this coat look on me?" So I miss her a lot. I miss those messages.
Oh, me too. I miss her. Ashley wants to know if you've ever gotten other gifts or free food or anything else from the clothing that you wear.
No, that donut thing was the one time, which I was like, yes, thank you, because I love donuts. But I mean, I have gotten other free things, just being online. And like, I think that the more you share information and you get your voice out there, people will find you, they will see you. You just never, like my dad used to always say, you never know who's watching. So, I've gotten free things that way. I got a free bed. Or I just take a picture, things like that. So.
On that thing about you never know who's watching, I've shared this story before, but because of some things I shared about fatness and fat community, a person I knew in person told me that she didn't commit suicide that day because of something I shared. And I didn't know she was even depressed. We weren't that great of friends, but as fat people sharing things, you really truly never know who you're touching. And it would just be that one thing they needed that day. I just wanted to remind everybody that part of being visible is you possibly are helping other people that aren't quite where you are now. So thank you for that, Marcy. That's very important.
Yes, we can't be caught up in, I think now these days, many people are caught up in the likes and oh, there's only 200 people watching. But to me, even if it's one person watching, you never know the impact you're going to have on that one person.
True.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing your voice, and changing that woman's
I appreciate you. I really do. And I appreciate everybody here. And thank you, Marcy. We're going to talk about some life hacks now. And hopefully you guys have some y'all. I'm trying to stop saying you guys. My podcast, we're trying really hard not to say you guys anymore. Y'all. Hopefully you all have some hacks you want to share with us. I did share this with Pauline and Broderick earlier because they were on first. This is a hack that I learned on Facebook. It has to do with the mini pad. And it's not fat related, but I watched this woman put a mini pad, I got the big honking ones, in her shoe to work as a way to catch the perspiration. And also she was using it to wear heels. And so she said it helps her not to slip in her heels. Isn't that brilliant? I'm like,
Wow.
holy shit, why didn't I think of that? I mean, I use mini, I'm 54, I use mini pads all the time, everywhere, because I pee all the time, accidentally. But isn't this brilliant? So that's my
Wow.
first
That's
half video.
amazing.
Isn't it smart? It's so smart. I just like, oh, I have to tell my mom about this. She's gonna be so excited. Mhm. Does anybody else have one? Thank you, Tamara. Anybody else have anything? I have another one if y'all don't have any, but I know Marcy has at least one.
Yeah, I have one. Well, what I was talking about when growing up, like how I used to manipulate my clothing, is really getting crafty. Like it's even as simple as at the dollar store getting like, the flat rhinestone, like the acrylic gemstones,
Yeah.
and getting like some E6000 adhesive glue and gluing gems to your jeans, gluing gems to your jacket, to jazz up your outfit. Like I said, I used to pour bleach on my jeans, to get the look that you're paying, like, so much money now. Like I would get like $10 jeans at the thrift store and like make the jeans my own, even
Smart.
and also I never knew that dry cleaners usually do alterations. They usually do, right? I never knew that until I lived in the Bronx, like maybe many moons ago. There was a dry cleaners across the street from me, and I saw in the corner it said alterations, and I would always see the woman in the window with the sewing machine,
Yeah.
and I was like, So I hate elastic on hems on my sleeves. I hate it because I have large upper arms. I feel like they cut off my circulation.
Oh yeah.
So I took a shirt to her once and I said, "Can you take out the elastic and just like sew the hem up?" She said, "Sure." And when I got it back, it created flutter sleeves and it looked so pretty. I was like, "Oh, this is great." So I used to
There you
always
go.
do that, like get the elastic taken out of the sleeves and create, and a flutter sleeve gives you more room and it's comfortable, with the upper arms. So and I'm trying to think because I had written down, I've taken like jackets to the dry cleaners with patches and have them sew on patches,
All right.
especially like you can buy like on Etsy for like $3. You can get like a patch of like your favorite, person or like musical artist or whatever, have it sewn onto your jacket. And then like you have a jacket that no one else has because you've gotten, something altered on it. So
Brilliant.
yeah.
I'm writing them all down. I have 2 or 3 now. Before I go to any of mine, I want to know if anybody else has any. And then also, Marcy, is there anybody out there that makes underwear with a wider gusset? I can't,
Hmm.
little narrow gussets just don't work for me. I need a little
Yeah,
more
no, yeah.
space.
Well, I mean, I actually am loving toward underwear right now. Like they didn't before they didn't carry a lot of briefs. I'm a brief girl.
Hmm?
I don't do thongs. I don't do boy shorts. My mom, she's gonna hate me for saying this, but she loves boy shorts. Um, 73 years old. She loves her boy shorts.
Go Mama Cruz.
Um, and I'm not a high cut girl because I don't, I want some coverage, so I like a brief with a nice like band. I don't like Lane Bryant's underwear. They're nice people, but the bands always rip on me. The elastic is always ripping, around the leg. Torrid, their bands are wide and they stay put. And then like the elastic is more like fabric, right? And the gusset is a little wider.
Okay.
So I
Yeah.
like that.
For those of you who don't know what a gusset is, that's the crotch. I need
Yeah,
a little more
yeah.
material
I don't
this
know
way.
anyone else. Well, Tiger said panty drop me. I have
Yeah.
not tried them. I have to look into that, but I'm on the hunt now. I'm gonna let you know about that.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
gonna
you,
do my
Tigress.
research.
Yeah, and Pauline is right. She sometimes when you get into an Uber, it's a crapshoot. And I was going to go to a very important meeting. Facebook had invited me to go there for this meeting and to get information from me. And the Uber that showed up for me, I was like, I can't fit in it. They even ordered me a Uber expensive one, Lyft expensive, whatever it's called. And I didn't have a seatbelt extender, so I couldn't go to the meeting. Sucked.
Hmm.
So you're right. It's good to have
Yes.
I seatbelt extender for your cars. And then I know they say not to, but I bring my own. on the airlines because
Yeah, same. I do that all the time too. Yeah. Yeah. Because
yeah, you're right, Pauline, or Tigress. Different cars and also different airlines take different seatbelt extenders. So yeah, it helps to know a little bit about the car.
yes, yes. That's
Anybody
a
else?
great idea.
You can turn your volume on or you can put it in the chat, whichever's easier. I remember one that I shared, I think at the beginning of the pandemic, and I stumbled across this accidentally. I'm a big fan of shower massagers, the ones, the handles that come down for a variety of reasons. But one day I always take the shoulder head down, the shoulder thingy down, and I like to have it on like that hard stream instead of like the, I want it to be like direct. And somehow I caught it between my 2 feet and the stream went right to my goods. And I know sometimes hygiene can be an issue and it gives people anxiety because it's hard for them sometimes to get all up in all the, the creases, as I call them. So I accidentally just pointed my shoulder, I keep saying it shoulder, but shower head pointed directly at all of the bits. And yeah, oh, please do, Tigers. But yeah, like I said, I never met a stream of water I don't love to hump. But I wasn't humping it that day. It was just cleaning stuff. And I was like, oh, this is a cool hack. In fact, I think one of the people, my friend Chelsea, was like, I never would have thought of that. I really needed this. I'm like, have at it. This is cool. And it felt good too. I'm just saying.
Right, right. It's like, okay.
Just saying. Yeah. And then yeah, also for me, for cleanup stuff, in the behind area, I like to have a little scrubber on a stick, and then I use it there, and then I just make sure I bleach it and take care of it that way, so it stays safe and free of icky stuff. But sometimes I have to have a little help back there, so that little sponge on the stick just take care of it all. Tigers just came on. Tigers, you want to share about the self-care and the car stuff? You want to share what you were talking about?
Well, on the seatbelt extender, I was just going to tell a funny story about I recently flew an airline other than Southwest for the first time in I don't even know how many years. And I asked for a seatbelt extender, and the one they gave me was actually a Southwest seatbelt extender. So they had obviously like stolen it from Southwest and then forgot it on a United flight. So I just thought that was funny. But for folks who don't know too, I just want to shout out Southwest customer of size policy, which allows you to either request a second seat at the airport, and then they'll give you one if there is one available, or to purchase a second seat so that you are guaranteed one is available, but then be refunded for that second seat, so that it's almost like a deposit on a second seat, but then you get the deposit back. So just want to mention that for a few people who are watching who might not know that about traveling. And then I also just wanted to say, as we're brainstorming life hacks, I want to give a shout out to Anna Chapman, who's doing some really good work on Instagram around fat self-care, and she's actually going to be joining us on Tuesday the 16th at 4 p.m. Pacific on the NAFA webinar series to talk about exactly these kinds of things, including the kind of stuff that Crystal was just talking about that a lot of people are embarrassed to talk about how do you clean, how do you wipe, how do you whatever if you've got a larger body and you need to move around a lot more stuff than other people do. So but she's got some really fun ones. She's going to share some product ideas and stuff that are helpful to fat people, and you can follow her online at her Instagram is I am Anna Chapman, and that's Anna with 2 A's.
I don't know her. I'm excited. Thank you. The other hack that I used to share more when I had my boutique is that how you can, if you have like an Avenue or Lane Bryant bra that has the harder cups in them, you can either turn the cup inside out or you can even cut them. For those of you who've ever tried wearing like a balconette or a shelf bra, if you're like larger than a C cup, it doesn't do anything for you. And since these bras that are made by the Avenue and Lane Bryant are more like sturdy, you can kind of like like Marcy said, bedazzle. In this case, I just take a little material away. That way it's almost like a little balconette bra that actually holds these big heavy breasts up. So you ruin one bra, but you have it for playtime for a lot forever. And it's the only thing I've ever found that's been able to work for me. So that's one more little naughty trick from my book. This is my style. Thank you. That's it. Then we'll hang up
Can
and
I
we'll
ask
say, of
Marcy can I ask Marcy a fashion hack question before
course.
we go?
Well,
Marcy, when people's bodies are changing sizes, besides alterations, what hacks do you have for people to either make something a little larger or make something a little smaller? Like, I know like a lot of pregnancy clothing have, people will do like a rubber band around the button of your jeans so you get that extra 2 inches or
Oh, and that's wonderful. I
yeah.
use that.
What
It's not just a
hacks do you
maternity hack.
well, I think I first learned it from somebody who was pregnant, but like, what
Yes.
else do you? And I will tell you also, like, I'll tell y'all as a hack, I am not above buying plus size pregnancy clothes. I have no shame
Yes.
about like, oh well, I shouldn't be this fat and have this big belly if I'm not pregnant. I'm like, this is what I got, and that skirt works for me, and I don't care if the label says, maternity inside or whatever. But yeah, I'm just wondering, Mercy, what other hacks like that you might have for people who, it's expensive to replace your clothing when you're gaining or losing or things are shifting around to different places. So, what else can we do besides buy new stuff?
Hmm. You stumped me on that one, Tigress.
I have a similar issue because since I became menopausal, a lot of my fat has moved to my lower tummy and my midsection. I had it there before, but in the last year and a half, it's like almost like it's moved. Nothing other than that has changed. And as far as I can tell, everything still fits, but it's just suddenly I know this is what happens in menopause, but suddenly I have a larger concentration of my fat right here in my belly.
I mean, to go back to what Tigress asked, the one hack that I do actually do is, the good old dry cleaners, and I've done this for boots too. Like, I'll have them add fabric, like open the seam on the side of a jean, and it doesn't cost me that much. I think the last time I had them do it, it cost like $10. Because I had brought my own fabric, and usually like my own fabric means like maybe another pair of jeans that I have that like I'm willing to like do away with, and just keep on hand as like extra fabric. Or like maybe, mix and match. Like I've gotten jeans done with like jogger pant fabric. I had an old pair of jogger pants that had like a split in it. And so I had taken those with my jeans, and she added, it almost looks like a stripe on the side. So I've done that, and I've done that with blouses and boots also. Like go to like the shoemaker. I don't know what you would call, we call him the shoe man. We haven't had a shoe woman yet. I would love to see a woman in that role, but that's a whole other conversation.
I think we
Usually the
call him
shoe man.
cobbler on the
Yes,
west.
yes. Yeah, we call him the shoe man. Everybody's like, oh, the shoe man, because he's been there for like 40 years in the same spot, a little store. And he'll add like, pieces of like faux leather to the, if it's a faux leather boot, because I can't afford leather boots unless they're on sale. And I fully admit that. So if he can add like a panel to make it a little bigger, and it doesn't cost that much. The only company that I know that will let you return stuff if your size changes is Universal Standard. They have that Fit Liberty program.
Wow.
So, and also now companies are coming out with multi-size denim. So there's a handful of companies that I know. Old Navy actually has it where it'll fit 2 sizes up and 2 sizes down. Yeah.
How does
So
that work?
because they use a certain kind of stretch that has good recovery. So they're looking into like technology, like in that respect, for it to go up and down. Like I think, well, I hate to even say this brand, but They were the first who did it, which was Good American. So like they're 28 or they're 30, it goes up to like a 34. Like it stretches and then it'll stretch back. But their jeans are expensive. So yeah, I mean, that's something else I have to think about, because that's a great question. Since our bodies do, our weight fluctuates, especially with age, and I'm going through menopause as well. It's not fun. And then I was diagnosed last year with lymphedema. So like one of my legs is like bigger than the other right now. So it's, I've had to kind of adjust to wearing pants, and really wearing pants that have a certain amount of stretch in them. Yeah. So
Tina reminded us that you can buy bra extenders and inserts, but the extenders can help your bra to fit either looser or tighter. And then, does anybody remember that boot company that sold those inserts? If you had a wider calf, you would zip in their insert. It was like a triangle, like you mentioned, Marcy.
yes, and I wonder what happened to them.
I know. I'll have to see if they're still around somewhere.
Yeah.
That was cool. I really wanted to buy one, and it was just, I don't have any boots to add it to. So I want to have boots, but I have large calves. But yeah, it's just like a little triangle with a zipper on both sides.
That's a whole other conversation, because recently I found out at work, because we're launching a big shoe collection where it's going to be from size 7 to 14, and it's going to be all wide widths. And I remember in the meeting, the head merchant said it's a true wide width, and I said, well, what does that mean, true wide width? She explained to me, which I never knew, is that when most companies create wide width shoes, they only expand the upper portion, not the sole. So like the sole will still be narrow, but then the upper portion where your foot goes in would be wide. But what would happen is we would have to size up to fit it correctly, and it still wouldn't be comfortable. So the shoes that we're launching, she said, is a true wide width because we've expanded the sole as well as the upper. So it matches. I never knew that. And for years, I've been wearing a size 10 shoe, and I'm a 9. So that was something, I'm telling you, companies, what we have to go through.
Yeah. No shit. If they only knew. Also, Tigress seemed to have found the boot band people. So yeah, bootband.com. Awesome. Hey, Marcy, in case there are people here that don't know you real well and they don't follow you on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or wherever you are, do you want to tell everybody, and maybe Astrolabe can type it in as you say it, or after you say it, we can, because it'll come out I'll put it in the chat, and then I'll be able to share the chat with everybody.
Okay, well, she just put in my
your blog.
Right. I'm also on Instagram as @fearlesslyjustme. Yes. Same on Facebook. On Twitter, I'm fearlessly just me without the T, because I it was too many characters. Damn Twitter. And I'm not on TikTok. I can't. I have not fallen into the TikTok rabbit hole yet. And everyone's like, you got to get on TikTok. I'm like, I don't know. I'm fighting it. Yeah. So, so basically that's where you'll see me online. Also you'll see me like via NAFA, Head of the Curve. You can visit nafa.org to find out when the next episode will be. I usually post it on Facebook as well. NAFA posted in Facebook and on Instagram.
And there's another NAFA event tonight.
Yes.
I think at 5 p.m. Pacific, possibly, Tigers. It's called Seance.
Yes, sorry. Seance's Spooky Saturday the 13th, featuring drag queen Seance Knowles, sort of like a fat drag Elvira kind of. And the registration for that has already closed, but I will I will put, for those who are here live, I'll put the info in the chat. We don't share our links publicly, but I will put the info in the chat for those who are here live. And then anybody who's watching this later, that will go up on our NAFA YouTube channel, the same place where you can see Marcy's videos, which is youtube.com/NAFA official.
Mhm. And we're on Instagram, NAFA official as well, and Facebook.
It's great to see you, Marcy, and great to see everybody. Thank you all. Thank you all for your input. Tigress, as always, thank you, Ashley. And yes, like I said in the email and stuff, the world is a little bit of a hellscape right now. So for me, nothing like a little fat community to help me feel less stress about the hellscape of the world we're living in. And yeah, Tigress is putting the link to the seance event tonight. And it's at 5 o'clock, I think Tiger said, and it's no charge. So yay. All the NAFA events seem to be no charge, which is great.
Yeah, right now
Yes.
we're still able to do it that way. And we're, we have a fundraising goal for this month to raise $10,000 to help us continue to produce all of our webinars and shows and virtual events for free to, to be open to free to the community.
Yeah.
But, they cost, they cost money to produce. We pay our speakers, we pay our ASL interpreters, even though their name is Pro Bono ASL. We pay them so that they can continue to be pro bono for things like protests and funerals and things like that.
Right.
So, and our video editors at Foolish Tree Films, which is a fat-owned, trans-owned production company in the San Francisco Bay Area. So, so yeah, but we do keep them. They are free to the community. You are welcome to share.
This has been amazing. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Great to catch up with you. Take care, everybody.
All right, you too. Thank you so much.